Hey there, and welcome to Lexy's World.
Hey there, welcome to Lexy's World. This is Lexy, this is my podcast, and today I have my friend here.
Hi y'all, my name is Sinai, live in the 215.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to go into yourself, about what you do and all that stuff, give the people a little gist of who you are, or you're just want to be Sinai today.
I'm just gonna be Sinai today. I'll leave it up to people's imagination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, starting off, today's topic is actually going to be about young adulting and financial stability. So that was a big one I got on the gram. I was putting a poll up. A lot of people wanted this. So let's just dig in and see what we have and what we talk about today. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was, what struggles did you experience entering the young adult life?
It's more like, what struggles didn't I experience into young adult life?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We talk about pretty much everything from time management to just handling adult responsibilities, even just what I want to eat,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to cook, or what's on the menu for tonight for dinner or lunch or whatever. Everything in between. It's been a constant learning game. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's every day I wake up and I learn something new about adulthood, and I think we take it for granted just how little we have to worry about when we're kids. And it really just takes me back. I really just wish I could be a kid again and not have to think about bills and just all the stuff that goes with the transition into adulthood.
I definitely agree. Especially when you were talking about what I want to eat. Oh my god, there are so many times I'm like, ooh, I want to go to this restaurant, but then I'm like, wait, cooking is way cheaper. I have ingredients. Let me do that. Don't even get me started on grocery shopping. How much inflation has increased prices. You walk out with a single bag for $100.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was 2 carts.
Oh my gosh.
So we're not even gonna get started with that.
Listen,
but
I'm already coupon collecting, bro. I'm only 22.
Oh my god, that's
Come
actually
on
one of the
now.
questions I had. That's actually one of the questions I had. But
Really?
Do you find finances to be the biggest obstacle for you? And why do you think that is?
I don't think it's the biggest obstacle, but I think that finances are connected to ease of access to everything else.
Yeah.
The world runs on money. We all know that,
definitely.
right?
It's a capitalist world.
I don't think it's stressed enough just how important financial literacy is to being able to have a functioning adult life. There are so many things that I learned about managing money that I wish they would have taught in school, high school, going into college, and things like budgeting, things saving versus investing, or what type of bank accounts to have, or we get into credit cards and stuff like that. I didn't really have much knowledge of that stuff until I had to kind of just learn it in the moment, you know, and that made me realize just how much, I kind of think, just how much I think we miss out on emphasizing that importance ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. I mean, I know in my high school specifically, when I was graduating, we actually they started a class for finance, I think it was finance, something like that. But they taught us about different bank accounts and stuff, but they never really taught us about how to budget. It was more memorizing oh, what is a credit of deposit?
Yeah.
But they never taught us exactly oh, how do you use a credit deposit? How do you build your credit? How do you do this, that, and the third? So I definitely understand from that perspective. There is definitely not enough education in primary schools for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you jump into the world, into independent life, and then you're just oh, I'm broke.
I can't do nothing.
I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But do you consider yourself, based off that, to be financially intelligent or dependable in that sense?
I feel like I've definitely learned a lot, but a lot of it has been really self-taught. Like I said, I didn't have no class in high school, right? So a lot of it was just me going in blind until I was in scenarios where okay, yeah, I need to start learning about a credit card, or okay, maybe I need to start using my savings account, and things like that. I say nowadays, yes, I have a pretty good understanding of the right financial choices to make. It's just I kind of wish I was able to do that a couple years earlier.
Definitely.
And not now, but it's better late than never, And once again, that's why I said it really ties back into the whole, I think that if we put an emphasis on these classes and sharing these lessons and resources with young adults or late teenagers that are getting ready to go to college or into the workforce or whatever they're choosing to do with their transition into adulthood, then it would mitigate a lot of the sort of problems or stress or headaches that I experience with financial, like just trying to get a hold on them.
Right. So you think that they should be like incorporated into curriculums like high school,
100%.
middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And like, I mean, I don't know why more real life, like classes like that aren't a thing for real. I think that it holds so much more value than some of the other courses that we direct our attention to. So yeah. 100%.
Definitely. Like even like I was having a conversation with my friends about like the benefit of even having like a home ec class. Like they took that out the curriculum because they thought it was gonna be like they thought it was sexist pretty much. Like only women could take it.
What?
But it's like or then like at that time like women couldn't take physical ed. They couldn't take gym.
Yeah.
So it's like the men took gym, the women took home ec.
Okay.
But like I feel like it was definitely a useful thing because you're learning how to like utilize life skills in the independent world at a younger age. So you learn how to cook, you learn how to clean up, you learn how to do all these things, which clearly you can see here like a lot of people actually do not know how to do themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say my roommates. Listen, like motherfuckers don't know how to put their laundry in the dirty laundry bin. You ain't even separating colors from whites. What you doing?
Yeah, like it's really freaking bad.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something I do think should be incorporated. But now I want to ask this, like, how hard is it, like, in the eye of, like, young adults to achieve, like, financial stability and independence, in your opinion?
Ooh.
Like, especially in today's world, like, it's a lot different than it was, like, in the early 2000s.
I think it's a little unreasonable. I think that's another thing which makes it all the more stressful. Is it's like, as soon as we hit young adulthood, yeah, we are pretty much, like, unless we have a really great support system, but everyone's background is different,
Yeah,
There's some people that as soon as they hit 18, 19, as soon as they leave the house, their family or their parents are not a support system for them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I thankfully have supportive parents that are still able to help out when they can, but they made it a point that as soon as I became an adult, ready to enter the world, and also my own personal choice to enter the world and become semi-independent, that I would kind of try to learn to be self-sufficient. And for the most part, I am. Every now and then, I ask for advice or help, but for the most part, I'm in a space now where I'm pretty much able to manage myself fine, which I think is great. Not everyone's like that. I do think that a lot of things that are expected of young adults are, like I said, unreasonable, right? Like, we're not going to be able to put down a deposit on rent for an apartment at like 20 years old. Like, some of these apartments are asking for like 800 or 750 plus credit scores, stuff like that, when you don't even have, I didn't even have a credit card until I was like 20, right? And so like that stuff takes years to like lead up to, years to build to. And right off the gate, it's like, okay, all these things that will allow me to have a more pleasant life, a more smooth sailing life, I can't just waltz in the door and get them.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that the way society is run, it's kind of backwards in that it doesn't really give, once again, starting with the curriculum and the education, it doesn't really give the resource I think would be paramount to allowing young adults to achieve these things without financial stress, financial hardship, or just stress or hardship in general.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Because, like, even, like, as soon as I, like, rented my first apartment, I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Having to work a job, having to actually, like, depend on your own self for, like, a roof over your head. You miss one day, you get evicted, and as soon as you get one eviction, you can't move in anywhere else. Like, no one's gonna want to, like, take you in as a renter if you've been evicted before, like, God forbid, but it's, like, especially, like, the pay now here, like, it's really hard, especially in Philly, to, like, make a good living depending on where you work, because minimum wage here is still, like, what, like, $7.25?
$7.25, which has been, the math has been done.
Yeah.
It's been proven that that's not enough to live a comfortable life.
It's not, because, I mean, there's a bunch of people that I know personally that are living paycheck to paycheck, and at one time, that was, like, my predicament, where I kind of was, like, living paycheck to paycheck. I was working 2 jobs. I was like, I had to take the freaking sub to get to work. I worked in the morning, went to classes, and I worked at night. It was
and
a
then you
lot.
got school on top of that, and
Yeah.
school costs more money, and then you're taking out loans, right? It's all a setup. I feel like it's all purposeful. The whole idea of they make college and make university, higher education in general, a resource that isn't financially feasible for anyone that's 20, unless you have, inherited money, unless you're coming from a wealthy family, right? Which some people are. I'm not. I grew up in North Philadelphia, right? And I've been lucky to get to the point where I have been, thanks to both, just staying dedicated, trying to work as hard as I can to provide a better future for myself and hopefully my future family and things like that. But it ain't been easy for me, and I think that for a lot of people, it's kind of the same. The average student, right, is going to go through those same exact scenarios that you did, where it's like,
definitely.
okay, you can't even work one job, and you have these bills to pay, and oh my gosh, you have a car, then you got to add insurance on top of that, your car note, if you're at least financing the car, then you got rent, right? Then you got groceries if you're eating out, or groceries if you're not eating out, or if you are eating out, then you got to budget for food, you got to budget for gas with the car as well.
That's actually the reason why, like, I don't have a dining plan right now. Like, I was like, you know what? Save money on dining plans, save money on housing.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot cheaper to live on your own than it is to live on campus.
Oh, 100%.
Because the dining plan, like, you're already being charged for, like, what, like, thousands and thousands of dollars for what they would charge you for a one-bedroom here already. And on top of that, you're paying to, one, live with 4 other people, share a kitchen, share a bathroom, and share a laundry facility with an entire building. So it's like, right, so it's like you get more benefits like living on your own, but it's like, you do have, like, I guess the comfort of, like, student housing is a little bit more lenient when it comes to, like, rent being late, per se. They have, like, the grace period, even though it's still, like, the same. But, like, I believe, like, the same thing, it's all a scam because, like, in other countries, like, you go to Europe, you go to, like, Caribbean or Spanish-speaking countries, education there is, like, a necessity. It's a privilege, so it's, like, they don't charge people to go to college there. You go to college, that's the next step. Everyone aims to graduate, take the test, the exam, and then go to wherever they would want to go for their future. I feel like here we're so caught up on, like, oh, we want to, like, and that's the whole thing with the hierarchy stuff too. We're trying to keep these different people where they're at because we're only allowing people who have access to certain, like, financial brackets to be able to even pursue a higher education. Don't even get me started with masters. Don't even get me started
or doctorate,
with that.
like, you just keep going off the list, like the loans. Oh my gosh.
Like, literally.
They can haunt you for the rest of your life, right? Like, I have family members that are still paying off their loans. Yeah. And they're in their like 40s.
My mom literally just finished paying hers off, like, I think, like, a year or 2 ago. See? And she's in her 50s.
That's most people's story. That's most people's story.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
But I guess I want to ask this now that we're talking about, like, all the financial. How are you with budgeting? And what do you spend? What do you think that you spend your money on the most?
Honestly, I feel like these days the most that I'm spending money on, unfortunately, is food. It's food because I eat out a lot. I eat out like maybe 70% of the time. It's gotten better.
Oh my god.
It's gotten better. But that is the one avenue of young adult life that I'm still trying to navigate. Just because me personally, I don't like eating the same thing every day at all. And so for me, it's like with everything else going on, I just haven't been able to allocate the time I want to, like, planning out a meal plan or creating a list of groceries that I want for the next couple weeks or for the month. And trying to keep it all the same. Like, I can't just keep eating Alfredo every day. I can't do that. I'm sorry.
But it's sufficient for your finances. You're over here spending what, like 20 on a meal? Yeah. Like when you can literally
week's
food
worth
prep.
Of food. Yeah. Meal prepping. I have looked into that. I have tried it on and off. I also did like one of them grocery delivery services. I think it's called HelloFresh. One of them joints.
HelloFresh.
Which is cool.
They also have Instacart and stuff like
all that
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
But that started adding up too.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, there's still like some work to do. And I do aspire to ultimately be able to completely eliminate the eating out, except for like social scenarios. But also, I do eat out a lot socially, so that's another aspect. Because like my friends, like recently, a couple of my closest friends, they're like out of town, and I noticed real quick, okay, now I'm eating at home, but like when they're here, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go out to dinner, let's go out here, let's go out there, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to say from my perspective, like I also spend the most money on food. And for me, like I feel like for me though, I mostly try to I do like eating out. I'm a foodie, okay? I love good food, and I love to like not have to worry about cooking, but I do enjoy cooking myself, and I think it saves a lot of money. And it's like I mean, I've always like been like my household has always been the type to like always make sure we have leftovers and utilize those leftovers and go grocery shopping, and no, we're not eating out, like we'll eat out like on the weekends maybe, you know what I mean? But like I never knew like how much you can really use your freaking leftovers for different stuff until I started living on my own. Like I will cook up anything with leftovers and make something new. I'm like, oh wait, let me try this. Let me see if I have this in my kit. Yep, I got the ingredients. Let me just throw that in there. Taste, chef's kiss. Like I really do consider myself a chef because of that. Like you really start to build skills when you're living on your own, especially when you're living within like constraints, like financial constraints. You learn so many life skills. Like I feel like I learned so many like makeshift ways to do things on the cheaper side, or you know what I mean, like even like just based off like how my parents raised me, or how I was raised in general, like being able to have the ability to be like I guess live more sustainably in a way, because like when you live on a budget, you are kind of forced to live more sustainably, you know what I mean? But then again, it's like the whole thing with sustainable access, but that's a whole other topic. But I was gonna say, like, why do you think that our generation has the hardest time saving money and budgeting compared to like millennials or something?
I just think that it's just too easy to spend money, right? With things like social media that we're using day by day, constantly, all these online shopping websites. That's another thing with me, and that used to be one of my biggest expenses, and I'm glad to say it's no longer anymore. Yo, Amazon, like, I was using that junk way too much. Yo, that 2-day shipping, and then even the same day or one day.
Jeff Bezos.
I know. Yeah. No. I 100% agree. But like at the time, especially when I first started college, it was so convenient. I was getting everything off of online shopping. Like I completely stopped going to physical stores for most things, because it was just easier for me to like be able to look up exactly the thing I wanted and have it just delivered to my door, right? And I think that's part of the model. That's what they want, right? They want that convenience to appeal to this audience, right? And now that we're using TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and literally you go on your stories and they're shopping ads like every single time. Sometimes, it's a little crazy. Sometimes I like Google something that I'm like looking into, and then I'll open Instagram and it'll be on the Instagram story, and I'm just like,
whole thing about that.
You know, with like the analytics, it's like that stuff's crazy to me. But it's all for a purpose. So I do think that the ease of access for just spending or shopping in general, I think that plays a huge part in why it seems like it's more difficult for our generation to budget or manage money. Also, it's just we're just oversaturated with information. We're just oversaturated with ways to spend money.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I guess I can ask, like, do you think we should just stop online shopping in general? Because do you think that would just like kind of sustain like capitalist like use of capitalism? Because if you're saying like, I mean, it is a proven fact that like online shopping is like the top vendor right now for the amount of consumers and that we have in like America. So if we were to stop consuming off of online, do you think that like it would help with the way like inflation is, or how we spend money, or how we budget, or like how much things actually cost? Because if you think about it, like these online like stores are delivery fees, convenience fees, like all these different kinds of fees added on to what you're purchasing. So it's like, what do you think?
I think yes. I think it would play a part. I also think that, I mean, when you look at Amazon, when you look at companies like that, Amazon or like AliExpress or like Temu, a lot of these are like manufactured super cheap, and then they're upscaled and they're sold at these prices because of that ease of access for delivery and things like that, the delivery speed, the shipping speed. But a lot of these items are not like great quality, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, I've ordered a lot of stuff off Amazon. It's like broken after like weeks or
You gotta
months.
send it back to
you
the
know,
Amazon hub.
and that's why now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna actually go to an actual store and get something worthwhile, get something that can actually last longer. I do think that it would have a huge dent in the current economic situation, and also I do think it would contribute positively in that regard, just because like you're gonna when we're going to stores, we're buying things, we're making more informed decisions about the quality of the stuff that we're getting, and things like that. So the longevity of the items that we're ordering or that we're buying, they're gonna have a longer shelf life. They're gonna last longer. I think that part of the reason why Amazon's been so successful is just that speed.
Yeah.
Right? And so people sacrifice they quantity over quality, basically. That's what they're looking for.
Definitely. So I guess since we're on the topic of Jeff, you know, do you think it's easier to become a millionaire in today's time compared to like the early 2000s or 90s, or do you think it was easier back then?
I think it's easier now. I mean, you look at Forex. Look at all of these like multi-level marketing schemes. Look at all these pyramid schemes. Look at all of these online merchandising, advertising businesses. Look at all these accounts that are coaches for things. We're like, buy my course and you can be rich. Once again, it ties back to the whole information overload, because there are so many more avenues that have opened up, especially on the internet, and with consuming information through the internet, ease of access on every platform, YouTube, Google, Facebook, all social media platforms and stuff like that. I think that a lot of people have been able to find ways to monetize pretty much anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So I don't know. I think that the ways you can become a millionaire definitely way more broad, way more diverse.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, because of that, it also makes it kind of, there's more competition, I guess, because you have more people that have become these self, whether they're legitimate or not, because a lot of these people aren't legitimate. Like there's like, yeah, there's just more competition. That makes sense.
I mean, I guess like now that brings us to the question of like, do you think that our generation is like very materialism like based, like it's very materialistically based? Like, do you think that alone is a problem? Like, and does that add to the problem of capitalism? Because like if you think about it, like all of us are marketing off of like, oh, we have clothing lines or we have makeup lines or whatever. Like, yeah, so it's like now we're like a pretty much an entire society based off like materialism. So how do you think that roots into like the current like economic status, or like how people can save, or how people can come up, or you know, pretty much like getting people to buy these things because we're marketing off of like, oh, you want this, so just come get it from me.
I think that yeah, social media has turned us into these sort of material people, because we're all focused on our presentation towards others. I think that if you take that out the equation, a lot of what you see with these small businesses or these brands, I mean, they wouldn't be able to flourish in the way they have because they don't get that outreach, or they're not giving off that look that would appeal to people that aren't necessarily in their local area or like next door. So sorry, could you repeat the second half of the question again?
Yeah, so I was asking, I was like, do you think us marketing off of materialism is adding to the current like economic status of like financial instability, and the fact that like we want to spend thousands of dollars on all these things? Like, do you think that adds to the problem of both the people who are consuming and the people who are marketing off of this?
Yes.
Especially within our generation, like Gen Z.
Yeah.
We have gone up the roof with that, so.
Because it's like I said, it's like social media and our personality, we all have an online persona, and it's just adding to it, because we want our online persona, we want to follow the trends that are placed in front of us, right? So like when you look at fashion, you look at streetwear, you look at things like that, you look at these brands, we're always fed information about what's the newest trend, what's the newest brand, what's the newest clothing line that's like popping. You look at, especially in fashion, and I can speak on this in particular because I consider myself pretty interested in fashion, right?
Fashion man right
fashion,
here.
Right?
Fashion.
So like when you look at like the current fashion trends on Instagram and TikTok, oh my god, there's like, they've become a meme at this point. Where like, I don't know if you've noticed how the fashion sort of has changed in the 2020s, where like now most fashion influencers on like Instagram and TikTok are like people that are buying thrifted clothes, or these, like, they're wearing, like, mostly baggier, more vintage Y2K style clothing. And then you get to the point where, like, you can go on your feed and you can go through, like, 10 different fashion pages. They all look like the same person on the low and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, when you see stuff like that, you're like, ooh, man, I really want to get this piece, or I really want to buy this just because it's flashy, it's new, it's different, so that I can take a picture and post it. I'm guilty of this. I'll admit. And that
Y'all
plays a
should
part
go to
into
his
it.
Instagram and
Yeah.
you'll see.
No, I do think that if we eliminated the whole online persona, then you'd see that a lot of the reasons why people are buying what they're buying is going to fizzle out, right? And once again, I can speak from that personally, because I'll be guilty. Like, I've gotten stuff just to be like, oh man, I can't wait to, like, put this on a story. I can't wait to see how people react to this, or and it's just for, like, kind of. And I think we all are guilty of that to a degree. So it's just a matter in this day and age of still remaining, like, authentic to yourself, keeping that level of authenticity. And you can still buy nice things that you like, but actually ask yourself, like, why am I getting this? Like, am I gonna still want this thing that I'm purchasing, or can it be something I can put off? And that's another thing that really helped me with the shopping, and also just buying stuff in general, is the whole wants versus needs thing. And, like, being able to sort of gauge, like, okay, yeah, I really want this thing, and I'll look at it and I'll put it in my wish list, and then I'll go back to it hour, two, or maybe a day later, and I'll be like, do I really want this? Or, like, was it just, like, an impulsive, like, decision? I'm like, do I really need, like, a bread maker?
Yes. That wish list is actually a good, like, it's a good tactic, because even I do that too. Like, I'll put stuff, like, in the car. I'm like, okay, this is something that I want, but I don't want to spend money right now, so let me just put it here for later. And I'll go back and I'm like, delete. I don't really want that anymore. Delete. So, like, if you are looking for some type of, like, advice to stop spending so much online, do the wish list thing.
It's a life changer. And, like, take that time. Take, like, a day. I say go look at it, like, sleep on it, look at it the next day and be like, man, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah,
I've done that so many times. Like,
You're
yeah,
like,
it's cool.
"Ooh."
Like,
I was like, God, $30 for this, man. I'm gonna spend $1 on this for no reason.
I can put my phone in a little cardboard box. Oh, it's a mini projector, guys. Look at this mini projector, bro. You're not gonna use it after, like, twice.
Yeah, no, literally. But I guess I could ask, like, why do you think our generation has such an entrepreneurial mindset? Like,
because it's a lot easier to, like I said earlier, it's a lot easier to pursue that, right? Because you have the internet. That gives you access to, one, outreach to people that are literally on the other side of the globe. They can be potential customers or clients, depending on what you're trying to, pursue with your brand or your business. And also, there's a lot of resources, right? Hopefully you're not buying them scam courses, but, like, you go on YouTube and there's game for free, from so many people, or there's just online ebooks, online guides, online blogs, social media accounts from people that do have the right intention in mind. Not everyone is a predatory, like, I'm trying to get money, I'm trying to profit. There are a lot of people online that are like that, but there are some people that actually want to help out and spread information to others. So I think with all of that combined, if you use the internet in the right way, you can use it as a tool to kind of allow yourself to pursue whatever it is you want to pursue entrepreneurial. I've had a lot of, like, personal, like, stories where I'm like, I want to try out this thing. I've done stuff. I've made a Shopify store. I had stuff like that in the past that I did. Did it work out in the long run? No, only because I didn't put as much time or energy into it that I probably should have, just because I had a lot of other adulting stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? But I think, like, the fact that the internet was there to kind of allow me to learn these things and, like, make sort of a potential business opportunity out of it. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, have you ever been scammed before?
Yeah, I've been scammed.
Oh yeah, and how did?
Of course, I did. I hopped in the Forex. Unfortunately, I did. I was one of them. Oh my God.
No.
You notice how none of them were, like, around anymore, right? They were, like, popping off 2020, 2021. Now where is it?
Oh yeah, no. Be careful out there for scams, like. And your email, your number, these places, especially deals that you see on Instagram or online, those Fashion Nova deals are all fake. If you see anything Fashion Nova talking about $1 jeans, that is not real, okay?
Yeah, read the fine print, read the terms and conditions. Nobody be doing that. Please do it.
Even even just look at the the URL.
Yeah.
Like when you click on the link, does it say the name .com or does it say something .io?
.xyz.
Because I'm like, that's something that happens so often. But do you invest in anything like stocks, crypto, Bitcoin, or anything?
I have a little bit. I think that once again, it's the whole time aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a young adult, I have my eggs in so many baskets right now.
Oh yeah.
That it's just, I don't feel like I reasonably at this point in time could contribute what I feel like would be a comfortable amount of time, energy, focus into investing.
I mean, do you invest in yourself?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I mean, I guess now I can ask do finances outweigh anything else in your life? Do you find that to outweigh more aspects in your life, things you want to do with your job or in the future or whatever? But do you find that these finance obstacles, do they outweigh other things in your life that you're trying to either achieve or push for? Do you find yourself having to push back on some things because of finances?
Oh yeah, I mean, if everything was all sunshine and rainbows financially, there'd be so much more I could accomplish. You know, so it is a matter of when I am making financial decisions, it is that I'm also investing in myself. For example, I take pictures. I'm a photographer, right? I've been trying to turn that into a self-sufficient, little LLC or business. So far, it's been doing pretty decent. I feel like I'm getting more and more clientele. I feel like my brand is growing. I'm networking often because I'm very committed to it, and I'm working pretty much at least once or twice a week with it. But I had to put money in it. I had to put a little down payment, on the equipment I'm using because it's not cheap at all, right?
Oh, it's not.
So it's okay, if I'm gonna spend this money, right, I'm gonna get all this equipment, then I need to have a plan on how I'm gonna make the money back, right? Because I want this to be an investment in myself because I believe that I can accomplish great things with this thing. And that's the mindset I had for it, and so far, I mean, it has paid off already, which is great, and I think it'll continue to do so, hopefully. If anyone needs grab pictures, hit me up. But overall, yeah, I do think that there are other things, there are other, pursuits that I wanted to spend more time into that, right now, I just reasonably can't because the finances are still I'm still figuring that out. And as time progresses, as I get older and I mature and I'm able to be more stable, then I can properly, dedicate myself to those things. Including, you said, investing in general, that's another reason why I don't have that much in investing because I didn't have that much money to put aside to that.
Yeah.
Or at least I should have. I probably should have. Most people should have. Probably should have put some more into that than I have. But at the time, I made I reasonably was okay, well, I need this for my budget to live and to handle other things all the other responsibilities, rent, driving my car, all that stuff, insurance.
Definitely. So, are you guilty of indulging at all?
Indulging in what particular?
Just personal wants. You know, everyone indulges every now and then. Oh, I'm just gonna go here for a trip on the weekend.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes.
Okay. Get into that because I feel like we're all guilty of it, and we don't. I feel like a lot of people it's either seen as something a bragging right, or it's seen as oh, shame on you, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's alright to indulge. All right.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine to you gotta every now and then you gotta let loose, give yourself a pat on the back. Don't overdo it, but it's fine to indulge. I indulge every now and then, you know what I'm saying? I'll go out with my friends, we'll get some wine or whatever and chill out, have a nice girls' night and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine to do that, but it's just a matter of not making it a habit.
Yeah.
Now that I said that, what habits do you have that add to your weaknesses of saving? And what habits do you have that add to your strengths of saving?
My habits to my weaknesses of saving is that I'm very I make a lot of decisions on impulse, at least when it comes to indulgent things. I'll wake up and I'm I got this plan today. And then my friend will call me and be like, yeah, bro, you trying to go see this movie? And I'm like, bet, let's go right now. You know what I'm saying? And in the moment, that indulgence is great. And I don't necessarily think I should pass up on it. But I think after a certain amount of time, I think you have to have a conversation with yourself about, okay, what's reasonable and when do you learn to say, no, I can't do that right now, or let's push this off a bit, y'all. Let's do this next month, like let's save up a bit, or I gotta save up a bit more before we go out and do this. Yeah, I think my biggest habits are just pretty much anything socially, outings with friends, going on adventures. I've been on a lot of
I feel like that's
adventures.
with every young adult.
Listen, like my friends be driven up to New York on impulse. We're like, let's just go to New York. You know what I'm saying? And we're up there, and it's like it's a blast. But like financially, was it the best decision with the gas prices?
You can easily spend
a
bag in New York.
Exactly. So it's just like, when do you tell yourself, okay, like, or I think for me, what's worked for me is like giving myself like a quantifiable number of like times that I want to indulge, right? And this is also kind of the eating out thing, because it's the same scenario for me. So it's like, all right, I'll eat out, like I'll limit myself to like, okay, I can eat out once a week, twice a week, maybe if I can squeeze it in, right? But I'm not gonna exceed the limit. I gotta have a hard cutoff, right? And like I tell my friends nowadays that, so like they know, right? And most of my friends are in the same sort of boat as me, right? We're all like in our early 20s. None of us are balling like that, right? So it's not like they're gonna be like mad when I'm like, okay, like I'm good, bro. Like I got food at home. That's my quote now. I have food at home. I gotta say that a lot, because they're going through the same thing I'm going through. So that extends to social, like any social outing that I feel like I habitually like. So another thing I like to do, I like to go to concerts. I'm not gonna lie, that's a big spender for me too. I like live music. I like going to concerts. I've been to a lot of concerts. I just went to one last weekend with my friends. It was cool, but like now I'm like, okay, I can't just go to a concert every week. Maybe every once a month. I think that's right now. That's where I'm looking at, because that's what's most financially reasonable for me. So when I started like putting numbers on things and sticking to that, it really helped with kind of mitigating those habits. But it's still something I'm working on. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of working on that. Especially like as a young adult, like. I feel like, especially like in your 20s, like early to mid 20s, you're like, you want to do everything like right away. You're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. You don't want to like have FOMO, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to miss out on an opportunity, or you see your friends are doing something, so you're like, oh, I want to go. They're going. Like, I can do it. Then next thing you know, you look at your bank account and you're like, whoa, I gotta stay in now for like a good 2 months to save up and go to work and whatever. Like, it's that's why it's like. You should be fine. Like I said this in my previous episodes, like just be fine doing you. Like do you. If you can't afford to like go out to a concert with your friends, or you can't afford to go out for drinks or whatever, stay in. Like stay the heck in. You do not need to be a busybody every day, all day. You don't need to have this like flashy scene, It's good to have that stuff every now and then, because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing. We're young, we want to do that stuff. It's just what's interest, but like I feel like, every now and then it's cool to be a homebody so you can save some money.
It's not even that. Because me, I like being outside. But one thing I started doing too, like in the past year, was I started looking at cheap alternatives to shit. And like you don't realize just how much stuff you can do for borderline free.
Yeah.
Or for on a budget. And so that's been my mantra now when I look for stuff to do. I'm like, okay, if I still want to eat out with my friends, why don't we just go out on a picnic? Why we gotta go out to this restaurant? Why don't we just go somewhere nice?
That's why I love this summer.
Roll out a blanket. We could get the little fruit basket. We can make it fancy. We can make it fun. And low key, it's a little bit more fun because we have our own. We added our own like personal spin on that. You know what I'm saying? Or like I'll be on Instagram or I'll be on TikTok and I'll look up like $5 eats, $10 cheap bites, stuff like that. Street tacos or going to like street like markets and stuff like that. Or with fashion. That's why I like going thrifting, because I save so much money with clothes, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm just online, like looking at what's there to do for free in Philly, and you don't realize just how much, like we're in a big city in the Northeast. It ain't New York, but it's a big city, and there's still so many things you can do for free, so many places you can go for free. Even if you like going to venues, like if you like the art museum, okay, art museum has a name your own price day every week that you can go.
Donation
you can spend $1 or $2 and you can go look at art. There's free museums. The Academy of Natural Sciences, that joint is free, right? There's parks, there's events almost every day.
Yeah, definitely. They have a lot of festivals out here and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, do you use coupons, discounts, all that stuff?
Yes.
Let me tell you, okay?
Yeah.
I was the girl who grew up with a mama who had a big coupon
With a
pouch.
big coupon, yep.
Every time we went to the grocery
Holding
store,
up
I
the
used
line.
to get so embarrassed.
Yo,
like, I used to
for
be
real.
like, oh my God.
Not again.
Like, Mom pulled out all these, hold on, give me a second. Let me see which ones aren't expired.
Right.
Is that expired? Check that. I'd be like, Lord Jesus. I'm like, but you, honestly, as you start spending for yourself, you start being like, I'm so glad my mom was like this.
Right.
She's like, yeah, I'm now, like, me and my mom bond over discounts and stuff like that. So, like, but I will say this. Retail now is kind of using discounts as a way to get a leg up.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll upcharge you, so like the whole like buy two get one free.
Yeah, but then they'll raise the price.
Yes.
So that the two is the price of one anyway.
And then they'll be like, oh yeah, you got one for free, but really they're upcharging you for the 2 jeans that you actually did buy, and they're making the discount, the price off for the 1 pair of jeans.
Yeah.
So you're technically still paying for 3 pairs, but like that's like a whole thing I can get into research about. But like, yeah, like, do you consider yourself to be like a coupon junkie, discount junkie?
A discount, yeah, definitely. I think that anywhere I'm going nowadays, I'm looking. Like I said, I still do look at a lot of spots online. I might go to a brick and mortar venue to like actually purchase the things, but I'm like, my initial research for like where I'm trying to shop for things is gonna be online still, right? And like damn near every online store got a 20% off, first customer discount, whatever. Just put your email in here, sign up for our newsletter, and it's the same thing with any place. They have like a rewards, John. So I got a bunch of rewards accounts, a bunch of different places. You know what I'm saying? Like Wawa, CVS, anywhere. I'm like going anywhere on the rag. Whether
they're
it's
trying
like
to officially
eating or
like
shopping.
shut down business like malls. Like people are not shopping in malls anymore. They're not going to stores anymore. Because why would you do that if you could sit at your couch and buy everything you want? It's just so convenient. Do you think that men or women spend more money? Or do you think it's not?
I don't think
at all.
I don't think it really ties into like what sex you are.
Because I hear a lot of things from some people, and I'm like, I can counter that.
I don't believe in that, right? Because I feel like okay, what's the stereotype? Like women might spend more on what, makeup or clothes, right? But
not anymore.
Trust me.
Not anymore.
A lot of my women friends, they don't got more clothes than I spend.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just personal. I don't think it ties into people's sex at all. No.
Thank
I disagree
you.
with that notion 100%.
It is not a gender thing,
It's
fellas and
not.
ladies. Okay.
Right? Like,
there are guys out here spending way more, dropping bags on clothes and shoes out here compared to women.
Oh,
some
sneakers,
men have way more, like a larger closet than some women out here.
Sneakers,
you know what I'm saying?
It's a money pit, man.
Exactly.
There's
so
so
I'm
much
like,
stuff that you sink your money into, bro.
Yes.
Cars. Like I got my friend, he tried to mod out his whole car, put like a speaker in his trunk and stuff like that. Like he was blowing bands on that joint just for it to break down. Listen, like in the shop half the time, bro. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. So last question. Where do you see yourself financially in like 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, deep. Okay. Well, I want to definitely get more into investing. I want to make sure like I have a solid 401k stuff going for me. Like a couple different accounts, savings wise. I think like I don't want to have a lot of money, right? I don't see the point of it because I'm pretty happy with like where I am right now. Could I be like managing myself better? Yeah, 100%. Are there some times where I'm like, I'm not gonna check my bank account because it's gonna make me tear up? Yes, happens pretty often. But like to live comfortably, I don't think I need to have a exuberant amount of money, right? And that's the case I think for most people. So I think as long as I have a good paying full-time job or what I'm doing creatively with my career, if that is enough for me to pay the bills, for me to wherever I'm living, whether it's rent or if I have a mortgage, or pay that fine, pay off the car, and still have a good amount of money that's being saved and a good amount of money that's getting put into investing accounts or things like that, then I'll be fine. I'll be okay. The one thing though I'll say like more concrete, I want to get out of debt, 100%. I want to be done with debt. That's going to be like the one thing I want to tackle as fast as possible. Just because, like we said earlier, you know, I have family members that are in their 40s still getting letters from their student loan programs or their student loan accounts, and I don't want that for myself, especially as I mature and when I become a future, you know, father, a future husband. I want to make sure that I can provide the most comfortable environment possible for my future family, and I want to make sure that I have all of that in check before I even do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's nice. Yeah. Student loans are like, they're they get you with that interest goes up every year, so like you're technically paying $50K more, but those are really great goals. Thank you, Sanai, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
I hope everybody enjoyed that because I thought it was really like tea. And there's a lot of like good advice and stuff that we gave out. Tune in to my podcast. It's on Spotify. It's also on rss.com. Follow me on the gram at Lexy, LEXY_BE23. I'm going to put it on the screen. I'm not sure if Sanai wanted to shout himself out. But
follow me at sparkplug.__. Hello, internet. And hi, Mom. All the future people watching, this is before Lexi's famous, before I'm famous. Hello, how y'all doing? By the way, I am no finance guru.
We're not finance gurus, but we talk about our experiences because we are both young adults. We are both living independently, so we're here giving just stuff based off of the things we've experienced ourselves. So don't take this as this is life script. No, it's not Bible. This is just us having a conversation about finance and stuff as young adults. But follow him, follow me. Tune into my next episode and give this episode a like, comment, and subscribe. And then with that being said, bye, peace.